All right, welcome back for another episode of Sneaky Keys. This is my spiritual successor to Hidden Gems, where I talk about some books that you may not know are worth a few bucks more than you might actually expect. Just some fun little things for you to go and keep an eye out for when you're out there digging in those back issue bins, those dollar boxes, those cheap boxes, etc. Because sometimes you can get lucky because these things often get overlooked or forgotten about over time. With that said, hopefully you're enjoying everything else here on the channel. Please let me know what you think in the comments down below. Make sure that you like, you subscribe, you hit the alert button so you don't miss anything. Keep telling your friends so we can keep growing the channel. And with that, if you want to see this week's selection of books, just hang on for a few seconds after the intro, and I will be right back. All right, so this week I decided to focus solely on a special selection of books, and these are all second prints. Now, a few years back, Marvel had this run of homage covers, homage covers, however you want to say it. All three are correct, by the way, depending where you're from. Marvel did a whole bunch of these covers where they were actually lenticulars on the first print, and they kind of change to and fro from what the new art was to the original art. But then they released most of these, if not all of them, as second prints where we just got the homage cover, the new art, without the old one kind of blending in with the lenticular cover. So those are the covers I'm here to cover, cover to cover. Those are the covers I'm here to talk about today. And we're going to start off first with this one. Here's my example. So we have Jessica Jones, issue 13. You got this classic Purple Man cover, which, again, is an homage to this cover right here. This was on Marvel Team Up Annual Spider-Man #4 from way, way back. And you can see it's a pretty well done little, homage to this cover. And I like these. I'm a fan. I get tired when they redo and do the same ones over and over again. Like, I don't need any more Spider-Man 1s or ASM 300s. Those have been done to death. But when we get oddball covers like this, I don't mind it. I actually kind of like it. And this thing actually does pretty well to open us up right out of the gate. This cover can sell for about 30 bucks. That's right, 30 bucks. And average listings on this one can go up to $45. Not an easy one to find because Jessica Jones wasn't the most popular title at the time. A couple of cool covers in that run, but just one to keep an eye out for here with this, second print cover. Again, the first print is the lenticular. The second print is just a plain cover featuring the new art. And you can see really closely if you look underneath the Marvel Legacy logo, there is a tiny little printing where it says second printing. Just to kind of help you out too while you're, flipping through those boxes. While the lenticular is shiny and it may catch your eye, these are the ones you actually want to look for because many of the lenticulars aren't really worth all that much. So, with that said, these can be found kind of tucked away and mixed in with them sometimes, which is to your benefit because as you can see, some of these prices are worth knowing. Now, you're not going to get rich on all of them. Some of them are only going to be a few bucks, but still, it's worth knowing what you're looking at because the difference between $1 and $10 is significant over time, and if you get enough of them. So, with that, we're going to move on to our second book here in the run, Black Panther 166. And you can see here, this one, obvious callback to that classic McFarlane cover with Wolverine and Hulk. So, fun cover. Yes, this one has done a lot, but still kind of like it. It's a little bit of a change when we're dealing with Black Panther and Claw. It's not a combo you see very often. And again, you can see that second printing right there in the box up above. This one is about 20 bucks. Average sales go for, while listings are looking for more like $20 to $45. So again, not bad for a second print book that could just be buried out there in a box somewhere. And with that said, I did notice there was a CGC out there. When I did my data, I don't know if it's still out there today, but when I was doing my research, there was a CGC 9.8 listed for $235, which also gives you a sense of that upside if you decide to grade a copy or if you have a really nice copy at home that you can make even more. So, with that said, we're moving on to another book. Our next second print is a cover or an homage that has been done to death. Yes, we've seen it, but still, Despicable Deadpool. That's right. It was the Despicable Deadpool. Man, I'm like Daffy Duck here. I can't talk. Issue 287 from way back in the day. Yes, we've had many different runs of Deadpool, and it's kind of hard to keep track of them, especially when they start mixing in legacy numbering, new numbering. This was a mixture of both. 287 doing that ASM 129, as you can obviously see here. So pretty cool, though. Still kind of fun cover to go look for. And easily recognizable, especially with that yellow. And yeah, this one's not going to get you rich, but still, $10 is $10 for a second print that could be just buried out in a box. $10 is what it sells for. 10 to 15 are kind of what they're listed for. So again, not going to make you rich, but still a fun little find if you can, dig it out of a box somewhere. Now, rounding out the last kind of bit of this first chunk, we have an Iron Fist. So Iron Fist number 73. This was part of that tournament run where Iron Fist was it was kind of a fun little storyline, but they decided to do a cover callback to an old school classic. Yes, so we have Iron Fist, Sabretooth, much darker rendition here, but you can recognize it as that classic first appearance of Sabretooth on Iron Fist 14. So it is what it is. I kind of like the brighter version personally. This gets a little muddy, but I can see what they were going for, and it's still pretty cool of a homage. So with this second printing is about a $15 to $30 book with recent sales, or I'm sorry, average listings, and that's what people are seeking. Maybe you get it, maybe you don't. It's still a fun book to go and dig for. And with that, there is one more that I want to give you for this group. We're going to kind of stick on this topic. So usually I kind of group them in groups of 4 to 5, but we're going to go with a full 15 this week on this topic because there are a lot of these books and not all of these lenticulars are worth something, but I'm kind of focusing in on the ones that, are or have some potential. And here's another one, the She-Hulk 159. As we're seeing, she's getting a bigger profile lately with Planet She-Hulk. Maybe more people are interested in the character. I don't know, but still a classic callback to the leader returning here. So the leader lives in Hulk 115. Not a cover you see done very often. So not one of those ones when you see this and you go, I know what that is. I like those ones when it looks familiar, but you may have to do a little bit of research and a little bit of thinking to kind of see what cover are they actually doing when it's not explicit or one that's been done to death. Now, this is one that hasn't sold recently in a while, but has some potential out there as listings are 10 to 20 bucks. So another one, keep an eye out for. With that said, if you need supplies, use my code RENA10 over at BCW. Save yourself some money. You get 10% off your entire order. You get your bags, your boards, your long boxes, your short boxes, CGC boxes, top loaders, stuff for cards like top loaders and pages for your cards. Basically anything to keep your comics or collectibles safe. You got to get supplies. You might as well save 10% while you do it. Use my code RENA10. I just used it today because I need more bags and boards to get some of these books kind of prepped and, and ready to roll. But I used it myself. So go ahead, use it, 10% off your entire order, and we'll keep the show rolling with our next batch of books here, starting off with an X-23. So we got all new Wolverine, Laura Kinney. Yeah, this is one that actually I'm kind of tired of seeing because of Marvel just recently doing them on all those Doom covers. It's just enough is enough. Enough said. Yes, I've seen this one enough, but on that issue 25 of All New Wolverine, we did see this classic Fantastic Four 112. So, yeah, enough said. We've seen it enough. This one hasn't sold recently, but again, one of those ones that could have some potential because a lot of collectors do like going back and grabbing those X-23 Laura Kinney Wolverine books. So 10 to 25 bucks are kind of the asking prices on this one, and see where it goes. So with that, we'll keep it rolling and check out our next one, which is Falcon #1. A new #1 for Falcon. Yes, not Captain America, but Falcon. And this looks like a classic cover because it kind of is. This is that Iron Man 71, where you got him flying right at you. And they decided to use that pose on Falcon, which I think is a fun little thing. Like, we didn't need to do Falcon with a Falcon throwback cover. Do Falcon with another character, etc. Like, I like when they mix up the characters. It makes it more unique rather than, oh, Spider-Man doing an old Spider-Man cover. You know what I mean? But still, it's only selling for about 10 bucks right now, but most people are seeking more like 15 to 25 on this one, as it isn't the easiest one to find. Not a lot of orders for Falcon #1, but still something you can go and search for and hunt for when you're digging in those boxes. So, moving on, we've got Uncanny Avengers. I was never a big fan of the mixture of the X-Men and the Avengers, and they've tried this a few times with a few different volumes, but I know there's a lot of history between the two teams and a lot of mutants that have ended up on the Avengers, etc. But I don't know, it just felt forced at the time. So I wasn't a huge fan of the run, but it still lasted 28 issues here. And we have this classic Wanda cover that was called back to on that issue 28 from Avengers 187. So I think it's pretty cool. One for one. You got the Witch of Wondergore Mountain still repeated there on the cover. This second print is about 10 bucks with asks more like 20 to 40, which I find more interesting. So it's selling for a little bit cheaper than what people are seeking, but that's often the case. But who knows? Eventually, when stock starts running out and this is the only game in town, those higher prices might get met. So, with that said, I can't realize I'm trying to stop with some of those ticks that I have, but can't help it. Our next one, Guardians of the Galaxy. So, Guardians of the Galaxy, they went back to legacy numbering here with issue 146. Yes, we've seen this one done and done again, but still, it's kind of fun when it's done well because there's a lot going on here, a lot of different scenes, and it's not lazily put together. So I can appreciate it. So with that, Ron Lim doing his best impression here of George, we go back to Infinity Gauntlet 1. You know, not bad. This is still 15 bucks right now for the second print. I actually just had one of these in one of my, I think one of those cheap boxes at a show I just did this past weekend that went. But the second print does a bit better, as I said, than the original lenticular because I sold the lenticular. But 15 bucks for the second print with listings looking for 10 to 25 bucks. So still kind of in that range is what the asks are. And for this batch of books, I decided to look at one more to give you a spotlight on, and that is this classic Moon Knight. This should ring a bell. You see this cover, you know it. It's very, very similar to the original. This is the second print for 188, though, special oversized issue, and it is a classic Bill Sienkiewicz cover on that 25, which was also special double-sized issue. But fun cover. Tough cover to find in high grade. It's not just because it's a black cover. That is part of it, but it's also that run of Moon Knight wasn't well loved back in the day, but then newer collectors have sought out a lot of those classic Sienkiewicz covers. So good luck. I like the throwback here though. It's kind of fun and it does well with sales getting about 15 to 20 bucks. And asks in that $15 to $25 kind of range. So it is pretty consistent what you can get for this book. Now, with that said, Whatnot. If you haven't tried Whatnot yet, use the link down below, sign up, take your free 15 bucks, spend it on whatever you like with whomever you like. Just for signing up and trying it, you get 15 bucks for free. Nothing to lose there. Give it a shot and go collect some free money if you haven't tried it already. So, moving on, more second prints. Our last batch of books for these Marvel seconds, we have this one. Iron Man, Doctor Doom, doing a rendition of their original face-off. This is for Invincible Iron Man 593. Second printing, doing the 150 cover, which is a classic Iron Man Doom cover. And yeah, this one got a little bit of a heat on it when the whole Tony Stark casting, the Robert Downey Jr.'s playing Doctor Doom kind of thing, because any connection between the two characters, people started gravitating towards. But, it's just a fun cover and a fun callback, a fun homage to go back to. This is one that hasn't sold in the last few months, but listings are looking for $25, which is interesting. So the potential's there. Also throwing this out there, there was one with a really high ask looking for 90 bucks and at a 9.8 also looking for 222. So again, you see that higher end upside if you can find yourself nice clean 9.8 crispy copies. If you want to send them in and get graded, there is that higher potential. You get that more of a premium on that sale, but it's just a fun book to hunt. Now, moving on, we've got another one for you. We've got Captain America. And yeah, this is a classic Iron Man cover. This is Captain America 695. Alex Ross giving us this fun little callback to Invincible Iron Man 126, where he's gearing up, getting ready to go. And it's a fun little cover. Now, this is only about 10 bucks with listings looking for 10 to 25. But still, 10 to 25 bucks is still 10 to 25 bucks, especially if you can find this thing in a cheap box, a dollar bin, back issue bin, just for cover price or less. Go for it, I say. And a couple more on the way here. We've got this Daredevil, which I didn't see it right away because I wouldn't have associated Kingpin with the callback. So, Kingpin here on Daredevil 595. I assumed it would be a Marvel street level cover. And then once I see it, I go, oh, duh. It's Dark Phoenix, Uncanny 135. But you wouldn't put those two together, and I kind of like it when they do that. It's fun. It throws you off for a bit because usually there's some connectivity between the throwback or callback cover, the homage cover, to the new cover. But here, I don't see it apart from they just wanted this pose, which again, I think is kind of fun. Only about 10 bucks on this one. So 10 bucks on the sales, 10 bucks on the asks. It's not a book that many are seeking, but still fun little one, I think. And with that, I think I got two left. And our next one is actually Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur, issue 25, anniversary issue for her. And yeah, you see it, right? I mean, it's got Surfer, it's got Galactus. It's pretty obvious what this one is for. This is, oh, did I not put the, well, you got it. I didn't put the blend in for the original FF48, 49, I'm sorry. But you see it there. This one's not sold in a while, but you can get, or the asking prices right now are 20 to 60 bucks on this one. So 20 to 60 bucks is a pretty tall order there, but Moon Girl, not a ton of them out there. I know she's not, doesn't have the heat that she once had, as people were looking forward to whatever they were going to do with her. You know, they were hoping she'd be in the MCU, or that animated show would have hit more with kids than it did. But she's a character we haven't seen much of lately, but is always up for a return. With that said, high ask on this one, 275 on a 9.8. So 275 bucks if you can find a nice clean copy out there. And for our final book, one more to watch. This one is another cover we've seen done over and over again. This is Spider-Gwen, number 25. And I didn't put the blend in on this one either. Apparently, I wasn't paying attention when I was wrapping up doing the deck, but you know what it is. It's ASM 316. It's the first full cover appearance of, it's the cover everybody wants to say it's the first Venom cover, even though he showed up in little head on the Hydro Man cover. 316. He was on 315, but 316 is the cover everybody loves to go pick up for Venom being on the cover. But also, in theory, in the black suit, ASM 300, he's also on the cover there because it's a symbiote. It's just not him merged with Eddie Brock. Point being, this one, issue 25, does well. 35 bucks average sales on this one, with asks looking for more like 30 to 60 dollars. So if you can go and dig this one out of a box, you might do well for yourself. Even though I think Spider-Gwen has done this a couple of times, you're looking for this issue 25 from that Marvel Legacy run back in the day. And I also love when you see in the signature, you get the After McFarlane, you get the, you know, the tip of the cap to the original artist. I always appreciate it when new artists do, or not, when homage covers do that. I think it's a nice little touch. I think it's a fun little thing to add on there. But with all of that said, that's all I got for you this week. Hopefully you enjoyed that run of second prints. I know I like to mix it up usually, and this week I just did like one whole theme, and I did it last week too, or the last time out with all the Halloween covers. Next show I do have planned out, we're going to hit a couple different topics, so it'll be a little more varied, a little more widespread, maybe interest a few different groups of people. But until next time, thanks for stopping by, checking this out, supporting the channel. I appreciate it. I'm still having a hell of a lot of fun doing it. Hopefully you're enjoying these shows, and I'll see you soon with some more content. All right, later.